Creative Hive Live. Hi, I'm Joel Gotlib, and a good friend of the people who created the Creative Hive, Des Malenka and Mike Ty. I used to work at CTV News. I was in the television news business for 25 years. And I spent my last 14 years of my career at CTV Edmonton. So we're doing this Facebook Live thing. I haven't really done one of these before that was scheduled and promoted and all this stuff, but you know, everything's pretty much coming down to the new social reality of and where it goes from here. And I'm here to talk about that stuff. And man, I hope I can. I don't know if I see anywhere on my page about how many people are watching or what, but we're just gonna do this thing. What if I go to the Creative Hive website? No, I don't mind. I'll play with my phone. There we go. All right, so I'm live, right? You guys can read me, you can hear me. One of the things I want to talk about, there are many elements to this new social reality that we're dealing with. And I think one of the greatest fears about it is the unknown. Because when people start going back to work, and hopefully that'll happen sooner rather than later, there's a new way of dealing with everybody. I'm going to get my thoughts in order here because I'm so nervous because I'm live here and I haven't done this before. It feels like we are in a revolution of sorts. I don't know what the revolution is called, but this is a revolution. Just as there was the technological revolution, which was most recent, the industrial revolution, I think life is going to be very different for us all after this. And one of the hardest parts about this is not knowing how this is all going to end up. We have to take it day by day, and it's hard for people who own small businesses. Like I just saw a post about a business in northern Alberta. I think it's in Boyle, where a longtime business has shut its doors because everybody's being forced to close down, except for essential services. So this is really what I wanted to focus on. Really was the social aspect of this and how are we connecting. And for any of us who may have been hesitant to open their eyes and ears to all of social media, which I'm guilty of having been that way for a while, because I'm a traditionalist, I guess. In some, it's ingrained in me, having been brought up the way I was with the rotary dial phone. We didn't walk around with phones. I'm not really a traditionalist because I got this thing sitting beside me. So it's a new way that we communicate. We've already started it, right? As part of the technological revolution. We're texting, we're Facebooking. People are, the ways to communicate these days seems to be all through social media, as well as Facebook and things like Zoom. And I think I've tried out Zoom once. It seems to be an amazing platform, except the other day, news surfaced that there are security flaws within the Zoom software that may allow people who aren't invited to a meeting to sit in and watch your meeting. So be aware of that. But, if there are ways to have multi-platform calls like Zoom, once they fix their bugs, the more people, I think there's a Google Talk. You see, I'm not even fully up to speed on all of the platforms that you can use to have several boxes on your computer screen and chat with people. But really, right now, if you want to reach out and talk to somebody, you can do it any way. Through text, through email, through a phone call. It doesn't always have to be FaceTime. One of the things about FaceTime is I would use that a little more sparingly. If you use it a lot, know somebody. It helps if somebody knows that you're going to be FaceTiming them. And not everybody wants their face to be seen at that very moment. Make your calls. If you don't have an Instagram account, you might want to get one and see what it's all about. Doesn't mean that you have to post. Twitter seems to be a little bit more business-like. Zoom released a new update that closed some security holes yesterday, says Marty Forbes, radio legend. in Canada. Thanks, Marty. That's good to know. So for me, I think Zoom is really, you know, one of the best ways to have several people join in your conversation, something you may already know. Social media, though, I think what I've come to see is you want to be careful about what you post, and who you accept, right? I've been through this whole scenario of having an online bully for years. It's a 4-year saga for somebody who ended up going to jail for criminal harassment. It was a horrible, horrible case. So you need to make sure that you are cognizant of who it is you're speaking to. And I think most of us in the communications business know that already. But if, not everybody in the communications business may be watching this, know that you have the security settings up to date on whatever social media platform that you're using. And, where that's concerned. I think I may have ADD because I'm all over the place. Then a new thought comes into mind, a new thought. But I did write out some notes. I'm trying to follow them. It's really just generating the conversation. If any of you have questions or thoughts that you want to join in, that you might want to expand on, or I might want to expand on, do it. By no means am I an expert on all of this, but I have worked in communications for a long time. It's just part of our daily lives. Like, it's changed so dramatically that in this age that we are in with Covid-19, we have the resources. If you're fortunate enough to have a personal a device like this, or a computer like most people have, use it. Call the people that you may have been waiting to call. Now is the time to get a lot of things done in this new social reality of quarantining, being at home. You may not want to, and if you don't, then don't. But it is a good time to catch up with people who you haven't spoken to for a long time and see how they're doing. It's a good thing to do. It's good for the soul, because really, when you think about it, and it is true, it's scientifically proven, we as human beings are social creatures, and as social creatures, we need that interaction in some sort. Nobody likes being lonely. Nobody wants to be alone. So I think maybe also if you limit your time on online as well, I think it's very important too, because you don't want to get too engrossed in everything that's happening. You see that little paper flying over there? I have a window open. Where is it? Oh, I was going to show it to you. So there's a few things, I jotted down about this new social reality of thinking about it. Once we start getting out there again, I think all of us are going to have to be super, super cognizant of sanitization and cleanliness, and washing our hands more, and having being able to carry a little bottle of hand sanitizer if you can find one. I went digging and I found one that was stuck in my garage from a recent move, and it was frozen because it was minus 25 out, and it was just a little bottle. I took it, put it into another little bottle so I could carry something around with me. We're going to have to make sure. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's next. Have to make sure of this. Have to make sure of that. I think we all have these just intuitive thoughts and actions that will come into play after this. For me, it's odd when I go out, because I've done the 14-day quarantine. You got to go out to to groceries at some point, and doing a little bit of home improvement with my partner here, my fiance. For all I know, we may have to carry around masks and have it in our pockets. I find that I'm holding my breath as I'm walking by people. I don't know if you found that. Because I'm afraid, I'm just afraid now in this new social reality. And then I think about sporting events, right? I was at the Oilers' last home game on a Wednesday night before the Wednesday night, the night that the NBA announced it was putting its season on hold, postponing it, and then the next day the NHL did it. I was there for 2 periods, and for the first 2 periods, the only 2 periods I was there, I was really worried about this COVID-19 virus. Could this person have it? Could that person have it? Could somebody cough as I walk by them? And it was a tie game, and I left, after the second period. I didn't stay for the third. I wasn't comfortable. So I worry, and I wonder about what's going to happen when sporting events get back underway. How are they going to do this? People are crowded. When the airlines are flying, when travel restrictions are lifted, I wonder how the airlines are going to operate. I think I've heard that they are flying around, not having people sit in the 3-and-3 configuration. They will have an empty seat, the empty middles. They will keep the middles empty so as to maintain that space. That's what's happening now. I hear that in the summer, according to scientific studies, what is it? Well, the heat doesn't allow the virus to thrive, so we should be okay in the summer. But I don't even know if, I hope we're safe in the summer. I hope we're safe after this. And it's really, I think there's a lot to this virus that we don't know about as well. As somebody who worked in a business where you had to seek out information and know all sides of the story before actually reporting it, I've watched some of these documentaries, and I've watched some of these online posts. So there's a recent one from a New York City emergency doctor who suggests that this COVID-19 virus appears to be more like it appears to be making the lungs hard, which he says resembles altitude sickness. And in a number of cases, he suggests that ventilators are doing more harm than good. So we still don't know what we're dealing with. And that's also a scary part. And I know I'm kind of all over the place with this. I'm just talking because that's what I was asked to do. The new social reality is maintaining a safe distance from people you don't know and making sure that we've been quarantined for 10 to 14 days so we know we don't have the virus. And if you're fortunate enough to have reached that point, then you have to be fully cognizant of how you interact with people, what you touch, where you go, and carry wipes with you or hand sanitizer with you. And masks, we all may be wearing them around our necks and putting them on when we want to. It's important we all be careful and we pay attention to the messages that are being sent out by our health officials. And take the time during your day to send a few texts out to people who you haven't connected with in a long time and see how they're doing. If you have a relative that you haven't talked to in a long time, now's the time to do it, because we're in the unknown. This has never happened to our generation before, and it's just so odd, when it's overcast and snowy and really cold outside. I think it feels like Christmas Day. It feels like Christmas Day almost every day. Not today because it's a little warmer. And I think it's super, super important for those of us, almost all of us, that are homebound, is to exercise, maintain some kind of exercise routine in your daily lives, because that's what I'm doing. And it took a little while to get there after indulging in a lot of television. I'm doing okay. I have 3 beautiful children, and thank God they're okay. My fiance Joanna's okay. She was caught in Florida when all of these shutdowns started coming into effect, and so she managed to get out of there. And I hope we stay okay. So I'm good. I'm exercising, working a lot on home renovations with Joanna. Now that we're inside, trying to figure out what I'm going to do to make money, which I think is really going, a lot of it is going to, so much of it is going to be dependent on online, which it already is. But what is the next opportunity? So I'm thinking about that. And I want to know if anybody out there has any questions too. So I don't know. I don't offer any solutions. I offer discussion, and thoughts and suggestions. I'm up for questions. In fact, I would love a question right now because I don't know what I'm going to say next. But I'm going to take a look at this. I'm going to take a look at this that I wrote down here. The ripple effects. Through all of this, super, super important. We need to be kind to each other. And we have to help other people in whatever way we can. We have to do this all the time. But it's like I was out shoveling my snow the other day. It's like a ghost, eh? Unbelievable. No, you know what? You know what it is here. If I just turn this, which way? This way? Yeah, I have a window open beside that broken filing cabinet. See? It's open. Yeah, my filing cabinet broke. Wow, that's crazy. But that's entertainment. That's live television, folks. I don't have a whole lot else to say, I mean, travel, entertainment, sports venues. We all have to get back to a sense of normalcy when this is all done, and we will. But it's going to be a new normal. Let's see, do I have any messages here? I think somebody just texted me about what I'm saying here. Yep, ask for questions. Maybe I don't have a lot of viewers today, but they're going to post this so you can watch it. You can watch me ramble. I hope all of you are doing okay and that you're surviving and staying healthy, because that's what we're all saying to each other now, eh? When we, if you see somebody in a grocery store or whatever it is, all right, take care, stay healthy. And it really is about staying healthy. Exercise, socialize through online sources, and be with your family and the ones you love. And now's the time really to appreciate family more than ever. Soak it up. That's what I'm doing. I have my kids about half of the time, and they're going to daddy school now, so that's a bit of a challenge, becoming a teacher. But be social, don't stick kids in front of the TV for the whole day, or in front of the PlayStation for the whole day. There's nothing wrong with them doing that stuff, in my opinion, or whether it's their personal devices, but put time limits on these things. Right? You need to put time limits on and in so doing, we need to put time limits on ourselves. Unbelievable. Well, I was going to shut it so it won't do that, but let's see what happens. That's really it for me. I just wanted to come on here and talk a little bit about it and get us to think about some of these things. Socializing more online. With people that we perhaps haven't talked to in a long time. And take care of the ones you love and take care of yourself. Enough of that. All right, well, listen, thanks for watching, everybody, and stay safe, stay healthy.